Picture this. You're traveling for work, and it turns out your laptop is at 20%, your phone is almost dead, and your camera battery is flashing yellow. And you're digging through your bag looking for the right charger, hoping that you packed everything. I used to hit that situation constantly, and honestly, most people do, because almost all of us are making the same 5 charging mistakes without even realizing it. So once I figured out what they were, I replaced my whole mess of cables and chargers with just one charger. And I genuinely can't believe that I waited this long. Quick heads up, this video is sponsored by Anker, but all the conclusions are my own. So the first charging mistake that I was making was thinking that fast charging was slowly destroying my device battery. I used to charge my phone overnight on a slow charger because I genuinely believed that if I used a fast charger, I was doing damage. And it turns out I was wrong, but I wasn't completely off base either. The real culprit is heat. When your battery gets hot during charging, that's what's actually wearing it down over time. Now, the good news is that your phone is already pretty good at managing this on its own. It's constantly keeping tabs on its own temperature. Where it gets interesting is the charger's role. A cheap, poorly made charger runs hot, and when it's running hot, it starts to struggle to deliver power consistently. That inconsistency is what eventually catches up with your battery. Apple's fast charging is actually a great example of the whole system working the way that it should. You know how your iPhone charges quickly up to 80% and then it kind of slows down? That's not a glitch, that's intentional. That last 20% is the most sensitive part of the charge cycle. So the phone and the charger pump the brakes together to protect it. Now, a quick thing to know. A little warmth from your charger during a fast charge is totally fine. It's normal. Now, what's not fine is if it gets hot to the touch, there's a weird smell, or there's any strange sounds. If you're getting any of that, stop using it. And I have gotten that before, and it's really scary. So this is exactly why I like what Anker is doing with their Active Shield 4.0. It's running over 10 million temperature checks a day on the charger itself, and it dials things back before they even get to the point of being a problem. You never have to think about it. It just stays cool and keeps everything running smoothly. Now, mistake number 2 is something that I did for years and never even questioned. But every time I traveled, I would pack 4 separate things: a big MacBook brick, the little iPhone cube, a camera battery charger, and then a multi-port charger on top of that because I thought I was being smart about it. And to be fair, I wasn't totally wrong, but there is a catch that I didn't know about, and I'll get to that in a second. Now, what changed everything for me was USB-C power delivery. Here's the simple version. When you plug a device into a modern charger, they actually communicate. So the device says what it needs, the charger says what it can give, and they figure things out automatically. And that's what makes it possible to charge your MacBook and your phone from the same brick without having to think about it. Now here's the catch that I mentioned, and this is the thing that most people don't know. A lot of multi-port chargers, even decent ones, use fixed power allocation. This means the charger has already decided in advance how much power each port gets before you've even plugged anything in. So if you've only got one device connected, you're probably not going to get full speed because the charger is quietly saving power for ports that are sitting there empty. The way that Anker's Power IQ 5.0 works is totally different. It actually reads each device individually, and it adjusts the power split every couple of minutes based on what everything needs right now. So when my phone hits 100%, that power automatically shifts over to another device that's plugged in, like my MacBook. And when the laptop is nearly full, the camera battery gets more. So it's constantly recalibrating rather than just locking into a fixed split. So right now I've got my MacBook Pro, my iPhone, and my camera battery all going at the same time off of this one charger. And Anker has tested this exact scenario. A 16-inch MacBook Pro, an iPhone 16 Pro Max, and a third-party device, and it got them all from 20% to 80% in the same time as 3 separate original chargers running simultaneously. One brick, same speed. That's the real difference. Now, this next one is probably the most common mistake that I see, and most people have no idea it's even happening to them. But just because your laptop is plugged in doesn't mean it's actually charging. Now here's what I mean. If you're using a low wattage charger, say a 30-watt one, it genuinely cannot keep up with a MacBook Pro while you're actively using it. Your laptop is pulling way more power than the charger can deliver. So even though it's plugged in, your battery is still slowly going down. You just don't notice until it's too late. Now, before you panic about wattage, here's the reassuring part. Your device only ever takes what it needs. So if you plug a 27-watt iPhone into a 140-watt charger, the phone just takes 27 watts and ignores the rest. So a higher wattage charger won't overload your devices or do anything weird. It just means that there's enough headroom for everything else. The problem only goes the other way. Now, mistake number 4 is thinking that all third-party chargers are created equal. Now, the real issue here is not third-party chargers as a whole. It's the super cheap, unbranded ones from sellers that you've never heard of. The ones that are cutting corners on safety certifications and heat management just to hit a low price point. That's where the actual risk is. The real tell is pretty simple. Stick to brands that have been around long enough to have a reputation to protect. Check the review count, not just the star rating. For example, a charger with nearly 1,000 reviews at 4.6 stars tells you a lot more than one with just 12 reviews at 5 stars. And also look at the warranty. Anker's is 24 months, which means they're confident enough in the product to stand behind it. A well-made third-party charger is totally fine, but a poorly made one is not. Doesn't matter what name is on it. And then finally, mistake number 5. This is one that's not really a mistake so much as something I just didn't know I was missing until I had it. But I had no idea what my chargers were actually doing when they were charging. I just plugged things in and assumed that everything was fine. But it turns out there is a way to know what's going on. This little charger has a display. It shows you the live output per port, so how many watts each device is actually getting in real time. I can see immediately if my MacBook is gaining charge under load or just holding steady. I can also tell if adding my phone to the mix has shifted power away from my laptop. And I can just glance at it and know that everything is working the way that it should. On a heavy editing day, that really matters. If my MacBook is pulling less than 70 watts, I want to know that now, not 2 hours later when I'm suddenly at 10% with a deadline looming. Before I wrap up, I want to introduce one other thing. So Anker also sent me this Prime 26K 300-watt power bank, which is essentially this whole setup untethered from the wall. So this way, you can get laptop-grade charging with no outlet needed. But I'll drop a link below if you're interested. So those are my 5 charging mistakes and the ways that I've solved them. Let me know if you've been making any of these mistakes too. Links are in the description below and pinned in the comments to the products that I've mentioned. And if there's a charging question that I didn't cover, drop it down below. I read everything. And sometimes my best video ideas have come from the comment section. Now, Anker is also running their Ask Me Anker Thing series right now. It's where the people who actually build these products are answering the questions that most brands would never go near on camera. So if you're curious, give it a watch. Link is below. And if this was useful, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.